film tonight, but actually, because this is Black History Month, well, for us at Norman Studios, it's always Black History Month, because we're a national historic landmark because of the films that Richard Norman made back in the last century, and the fact that he made these race films, and also because of the way he operated. Many people came to make movies there, and they also stayed there with the family. So it's a special place. It better darn well be, because I've been at it for 27 years now. So I'm not staying away from the concept of race film or of Black History Month, but I just want to tell you a couple of small things, and then I want you to hear from Jim, because he is a great addition to our studio, to our board of directors. By the way, there's a couple more people here. Daniel, would you please raise up, please?
Hello.
And where is Our Lady? This is one of the things, because everything I want to say doesn't come up as fast as it's supposed to. But Ellen has been on the board now for several years. She's a teacher. She does an awful lot of different things, and so we're grateful for each one of them. And we have 13 people. We're always looking for others. Others want to be here. It seems there's been an epidemic of sickness and problems recently. So, and we just got Jim accidentally, because he should be in Cincinnati. So, anyway, I want you to know the 9 films that Richard made. Richard Norman was a young man from Jacksonville, and if you want to, you can learn a lot about him, because just in a few more weeks, I think we're going to be getting a certificate of occupation for our building, one of the buildings over on Arlington Road. They've been at this now for over a year and a half, and we're pretty sure that we're going to be able to move into the building soon. A lot of different things got in the way, including that wonderful code. But these are the movies that he made. The only one that's still in existence, in completion, is the Flying Ace. And we're lucky for that, because all the rest of them have disintegrated. That's the trouble with a silver nitrate film. Most of them are not. But we do have one of the biggest safes you've ever seen, so we can always put some in there for the future. I'd like to talk more about the movies. Next one, please. We're very happy that this is the one movie that's left. This one, when one of our board members and I went to a conference in New York a few years ago, we were shocked, because I thought New Yorkers were sophisticated. Well, there's a scene in this movie. See, the lady is up on the plane. She's being kidnapped by the villain, and his plane catches on fire. And so Billy Stokes, who's in the top plane, decides he will save her by flying over her and dropping the rope down. Well, anyway, during this scene, the girl, Ruth, is climbing the ladder, and she gets scared, and so she stops. And everybody in the audience goes, "Climb, climb, climb!" And we were so thrilled, because for me, frankly, I thought all those people from New York were a whole lot more cool than that. But we were glad that they cared about our movie. And if we can only have one left, this one is definitely the one I would have chosen. Now, I can't say that because I haven't seen the others, right? But I know that aviation was a really big deal in the 1920s. Everybody wanted to get into a plane. And the fact that African Americans wanted to also, not surprising, huh? This film is patterned after, modeled on, inspired by Bessie Coleman. Bessie Coleman was the first African-American woman to be a stunt pilot. Unfortunately, she came to Jacksonville. She and Richard were getting ready to do a movie. And she's flying that day and looking for where she's going to jump out of the plane. And the plane jumps out from her. She's killed, and it's just a very tragic. Now, he has already built a Curtis Jimmy, and so he doesn't have a heroine for this movie. So, we don't know this for sure, but we think that he chose Eugene Bullard, who was a real live First World War hero with the quarter gear and the whole thing. So we think that's who he used, and frankly, he looks just like Billy Stowe in this movie. In the museum that's coming up soon, we will have a section called Flying Aces, and both the girl and the guy are going to be, plus a lot of other people. The story is that the young men who became stars in the war, in the Second World War, they went to a school here in Florida.
Tuskegee.
What?
Tuskegee Airmen? What are you talking about?
I can't hear you.
You said the Tuskegee. What are you?
The Tuskegee Air.
The Tuskegee Air, thank you. But supposedly that those young men saw the flying ace and were inspired to go into flying. And we can't prove that. There's so much we can't prove. You know, that's the way it is with history sometimes. But our people do the very best they can because we think it's important, to the very best of your ability, to tell the story as it was. And if somebody can then add to it, we'll be very happy for that. One of the great things is that we've had scripts all along, but now we have a movie maker. So we're hoping we might be able to make a few of those lost movies. If for no other reason, to make them for education purposes so that kids can see what the stories were and so forth. We've done skits and so forth with them, but that would be a really big deal. Anyway, there's a lot of things that have happened in the last 27 years that I've been participating in this thing. Learned a lot of things I didn't know before. Got started because of the Plutho building over in Springfield. And we think our best time is to come just now, in the next year or so. One of the great things about Richard's movies is that they have a lot of good humor. And his movies are different from the regular race films, which were done by Michaud and the Lincoln Brothers and others. He doesn't try to be a black producer because he doesn't, they all tell stories, message stories. And Richard wasn't African American. And so consequently, he decided the best thing for him to do was to provide some escapism. And so he does very much adventure movies. And he did pretty well, successfully. One of the things that I want to mention is that Jim is going to be doing this program, but starting in the next few weeks, he is going to be partnering up with some friends of ours out in California. The S&A Studio, by the way, it happens to be one where Charlie Chaplin worked, and they're going to do a whole series of programs. The first one is going to be coming up at the end of this month, maybe the first of next month, and that's where you can see your Black History program. But they're going to do Flying Ace online, on Zoom. And then there'll be lots of others that you can participate in also. When I talk, I don't know, Harry says when people's eyes glaze over, shut up. And so I try to remember that. But sometimes I can't remember what I want to say, so I don't have everything that I don't get a chance to make them fully glaze over. There's an awful lot of wonderful things that have been going on. We hope that you all will come to see us. If you get us your address on the flyer that's there, we will send you an invitation to the ribbon cutting. We won't have a full-fledged museum right away. You know how much museum exhibits cost? It's ridiculous. And so we're going to do what we call an interim, because I also say you ought to come over and take a look at what $1 million buys of city money. Because we will not get the second and third floor done. We'll only have the first floor done. But you gotta start somewhere. So, I think it's gonna be interesting, and I think we'll do a lot of stuff there. We have had hundreds and hundreds of tours since this whole thing started. We took over as managers of the property in 2013, and a lot of good things have happened, lots of presentations and so forth.